guys? Okay, I didn't mean to do that. Hey. Hi. So, welcome back to the farm. As you can see, all is clear, relatively. Hey, Garman. I don't have you in here. I don't need... Yeah, you keep hiding in spots where I can't find you, baby. Let me give you a diamond. Hello, buddy. There we go. Just in case I ever hold anything above my head, and he is right there. So yeah, so we're back on the farm. We're back sorting our lives out. Let me go see how, the sheds are looking. Well, let's grab the... Oh, can see that you guys are done. Sometimes that does happen, where, like, if I am in, like, a field... Oh, maybe... Would I have enough time? Yeah, I'm gonna do it. If I don't have enough time, I don't have enough time. And it's... What are you? Tomato. Beets. Bring the beet back. Anything for you, Beyonce? I'll get back to all other stuff. What was I thinking? So how are y'all doing? We doing alright? So yeah, this will be... I'm continuing talking about teaching practicals. And what, so the teaching practical, I think this should be year 3 I'm talking about now. I've been a little, like, unsure how I want to... Would I have enough? I could just go up here. What do you call it? I was a little unsure how I want to set this up, seeing that, what's the word? Seeing that... Brain. I went to the same school for my 3rd year and 4th year, so there was stuff that, like, kind of overlapped, but at the same time was a little different. But maybe I might just do the split up year 3, year 4, because year 4 did have stuff that was a little different than year 3, obviously, because year 4 is final year. The reason I've been saying, like, I switched between year and level, it's because with my school, as I said, my university was an online school, so they didn't have, so a lot of it was, like, I'm assuming it was generally fit for people that couldn't, like, go to a brick and mortar school, and between couldn't go to a brick and mortar school / like worked, like some of my friends worked part-time and studied studied, and all had studied part-time while they worked. I'm at least I recognize the privilege that my parents were able to, my dad was able to pay for my studies, and what do you call it, and I didn't have to, like, work while I was studying. And I did, so technically my whole degree is 4 levels, and also it's 10 modules a level, so that's 40 modules, but I did it over the course of multiple years. I didn't do 10 modules a year other than my first year, so that's why things are a little, it is a little confusing the way I have enough. I thought I'd, like, clear that up, because I didn't know if that was something something someone maybe, like, was curious about, or something of that kind of vibe. But yeah, so 4th year, 3rd year, sorry, I confused myself, it hurt itself in its confusion. Let me put these away. So in my 3rd year, I was at the school in the area that I'm in right now. So first year was a school closer to my parents. 2nd year was a school at at our old place that Kayla technically had connections to, so that's why they allowed me through. Because if I didn't have Kayla, then they probably wouldn't have been able to make space for a student teacher. Because it's a diocesan school, so then they knew Kayla because Kayla would come do like assemblies and stuff, do like little assembly things, and so they knew Kayla very well. They obviously didn't know me well. But with this one, obviously, it was a Christian school. Like, both the schools in this area are Christian schools, because there's not a lot of primary schools. There's really, like, one high school. The school I went to is a high school / primary school. What's the word? So I was able to, like, get it sorted out. It was the first time I've ever done a sit down to meet the principal thing before doing teaching practice. Because in my first year one, I called and emailed and only spoke to the receptionist. Let me check if there's anything in the thing over here. And then in my 2nd year, ooh, do I have blueberries in here? Yeah. In my so I don't hit my mic. And then in my 2nd year, Kayla helped me arrange it and all that. And then now in the 3rd year, this is the first time I ever met the principal. And then also my mentor teacher apparently was Anglican. Well, is Anglican. She's still Anglican and all that, but she doesn't go to our church and all. Go to Kayla's church. She goes to another church thing. Yeah. Can't remember what the flavor of that church is. I think it's like a mix. Like, it's a non-denominational Christian church, something like that. Kayla can explain about it. She's not here. She's in church. Are you? Nope. I gotta go to Robin. Let's get that sorted out before I forget. I must remember. Oh, so that means if I was going to Ginger then after this, because if the thingamajig is done, then that means the other thingamajig is done. Greenhouse trees are done. That means the other greenhouse trees are done. So yeah, so it was a nice school. You know what? They were very understanding with a lot of stuff to a degree. I don't want to accidentally smack into no, Maru. Did that count? Wait, how much did I just pay? Okay, that's not actually that bad. And then stone. Actually, let me grab, like, a bunch. Let me just a little more. Because I do need to finish. I did it again. I do need to finish the ooh, maybe before I do this, let me move the buildings. I do need to finish oh, I was a little Yeah, no, that's fine. I was a little sort of overzealous in the. I did the math wrong. Um, should I move this here? I could. I could. I could. Um, yeah, let's move that there. Let's move you. Um, maybe over here. Okay, let's put you over there for now, and then. Ooh, of course. Now this is. Or could I scoot you right in here? Could I scoot you right in here? I could. Um, yeah, I think that's good. That's good for now. No, I did it again. Down we go. I was thinking, and then so yeah, so as I said, it's like whatchamacallit school. It's a grade R all the way to grade 12, and my degree is only for grade my degree is only until I think I can't remember. And then my degree is 4 to 6. So yeah, so they're like school. It's like tiny. Their school the grade thing so small. Which isn't like a bad thing, I guess. Like but like there when I was there, so then that year's grade fours, fives, and sixes. The grade fives and sixes shared a classroom, and that was different. I think I mentioned this before in one of my other teaching practical what's the names, but when it came to the okay, that's great. No, no. Um, when it came to the let me go put the stone away. When it came to like the type of school, it was very different from the schools I've been at. And all this compared because each year, because like the first year school was practically the same as my other schools and all that I've attended that since little one time that I've been part of. No, attended and all. It's a little because of the size difference and all. Like my high school, we had a lot of kids in our high school and all that. We had a lot of kids. Even our primary school was like a pretty decent amount of kids. Um, I don't know what I want to do with this. So you're just gonna leave me? No, I'll need you later, maybe. Um, so it kind of differed, I guess. But with this one, like there was four. What was it? Yeah, four grade sixes. There was I'm trying to remember the years. So it was about four grade sixes, eight. I think it was like 8 or 10 grade fours, and then I think it was six grade fives, if I remember correctly. But it was like small classes, so it was all like small classes, and then the grade fives and sixes shared a classroom, and so that kind of made teaching practicals a little annoying just because I'd have to like teach. These are when I'm actually teaching lessons now properly after year two. Now I'm actually teaching lessons, and then so with those lessons, I couldn't necessarily be like explain. I had to pick a grade to teach, um, and then so I couldn't necessarily be like, yeah, so this lesson is both for grade fives and sixes. So for like the one, how many lessons did I do in that year? I can't remember how many lessons I did. I think it was 2 to 3. No, I had to do it on a specific subject that year, I think. Or was that the other year? I did a few. I know I did an NS Tech lesson with the grade fours, and then I did a life skills. I did a PSWB lesson, PSWB personal and social well-being. So that's like life oriented. It's basically like a bullying, stranger danger, don't drink chemicals, that kind of thing. That is it's basically like life lessons, like just like basic like how to survive kind of skills, career related stuff, that kind of thing. Back in my day, back before it was called LO. I think the PSWB thing, like it was still LO. I think it was 2019 they start calling it a PSWB now, or PSW. Some things say PSW, some things say PSWB. I say PSWB because it makes sense to me, but I'm assuming it's because personal and social well-being and all that. Well-being is like one word, it's a hyphen word, but I think it is kind of like 2 words. So, it's your fancy and all whatever you want to say. No skin off my nose. Yeah, so it was a nice school. Overall, it was a good school. They were very nice. They were very sweet. Though I didn't like the fact that if I had to do batting, and all, they were like, yeah, no, that doesn't count as you teaching a lesson. And I'm like, even though you're teaching these kids, that doesn't count as teaching a lesson. And I'm like, what about this isn't teaching a lesson? I'm teaching them, aren't I? No, it's not really teaching the lesson. You're kind of just taking over the lesson. And I'm like, but I'm still teaching them, aren't I? No. Okay, I guess. So that was a what's her name, and I did the principal. I had like not like issues, I guess, in the nicest way, not like issues, but like she was very much like a okay, well you're here, meanwhile let's get all the free labor we can out of you, kind of vibes. And so it's sort of like so there's an event that happens here, and the school, I'm assuming it's like a fundraiser thing. Instead of like the event hiring laborers, they hire the school, and then so the kids go and do the stuff, which is like okay. And then I got involved with it. I don't know how I got involved with it. I got involved with it, and I was like, okay, sure, I guess. And it's like not manual labor. What's the word? So it's I forgot I did that. It's like sorting stuff out, and I wasn't sure because I had gone on a school trip because I was thinking when they were like talking about it, I was thinking, oh, is this meant to be like a excursion? Because I wasn't understanding the way the kids were explaining it to me. So I'm like, is this meant to be an excursion? Because I have gone on an excursion once with my first year school and all day. I went on an excursion with them, which I didn't expect. I was like, do I have to pay anything? No, you're fine. So that was unexpected. Very sweet though. I had a. It was a. Ooh, wait, can I not? No, 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 no. Okay, okay. Goodbye. Whatever you're called, apricots. Could I? Yeah, I can still reach this over there. Oh, but are you in? No, you should be in range. Or at least one of these. You should be in range. I know someone's gonna rag on me for that. I know someone's gonna talk to me about that. Gonna want to leave me for that. Where can I put this one? Because I really don't want it in the way. I really thought that I could move here. I can't do it there. Could I? I think I could. No, I think it was here at one point, and that's why I couldn't. And I can't reach this one, if that's there. Oof, let me see if I can't like finagle something over here. Let's. Oh, eh. Wait, did I get? Yeah, I got all the row. And then so I was like, okay, sure. When it came to doing that, I was like, okay, sure, I guess. Goodbye Saturday, but okay. And then she was like, and then there was like they couldn't have it. There was a they also did breakfast for some of they did like a volunteer breakfast thing as well. No, volunteer. They did like a breakfast thing as well. Hosted like a little breakfast thing sponsored by one of the as like a. I don't know how they make money off of it though, because that's the thing is that someone one of the participants pointed out like, okay, so you're getting money from you're getting like donations, let's say donation of like goods to host this little like breakfast thing, but you're not charging the participants for the breakfast. So then how are you making money? And that's a good question because I have no idea. I also am a little confused about that. So no, can I go back? Can I go back? Um, swap to previous save? Please, please, please. Can I go back? Please, please. Okay, okay. I think I'm good, right? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Can I check the calendar? I think I'm good. Because I didn't pay attention what the day was. Yeah, because that was yesterday. That was... Okay, yeah, I'm good. What was I saying? Oh, the... Now so many things are what's in there. I sell this thing. I was able to sort everything out, right? Yeah. Yeah. And so this breakfast thing, I had to wake up at 3 a.m. And I want you to all keep in mind, I'm doing this for free. Yeah, it's for school, but I'm doing this for free. And so I'm waking up at 3 a.m. to be able to get ready for the breakfast thing that starts at 4. I still have no idea how they're making money off it. And I still have no idea. Is the venue paying? Because I didn't want to ask any questions out of like fear. Because the principal, honest to God, scared me. I don't like that she kept making eye contact with me. Well, the principal of that time. There's a new principal there now. What do you call it? She kind of scared me, and she kept keeping eye contact with me. And I don't know, other people with ADHD, I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like someone forcing eye contact. Like I'm fine with like once or twice eye contact, but I don't like being forced eye contact. And she had the tone where she like everything I said was like I'm an idiot kind of thing. And the one time, and there was another time as well. There was like a whole thing with the teachers. I know that might have to be its own like video. That might have to be its own thing. But there was like this thing with the teachers where it was just sort of where there was a thing going on with some of the teachers. So some of the teachers were moving classrooms, and the one teacher, well, technically, my mentor teacher and another teacher shared a classroom. Okay, and so this is the same classroom that had the grade 5s and 6s. So they technically shared a classroom, but the one teacher wasn't really there much because she was doing a lot of stuff with the grade 7s. She was teaching like grade 7s and some of the high schoolers, and so that was like a complete. So she was barely there. So she was like, "Hey, so you can come stay in this at this desk. Use this desk." And I was like, "Okay, yeah." And they said that, and then so the principal rocks up one of the like before because of that teacher and another teacher are now swapping. She's gonna then share the classroom with my mentor teacher, and it's gonna be a different classroom with and she's gonna go into this other classroom, and it's like, okay, yeah, whatever. And so then, but the principal rocks up and is like, and then it's like, oh, ma'am, come out, and I'm like, oh, okay, you know what's up? What do you need? And she's like, you can't just take a teacher's desk. What do you mean? Yeah, you can't just take a teacher's desk. And I was in the process of like moving stuff and all as well because they said that the other teacher's gonna be coming through now, so then that's gonna become her desk and all. But that teacher said it was fine if I sit there until because this was like I think the last week of my teaching practice. No, I had the Monday still. So it was like because you're meant to be there for 25 days. So this was like the last full week. This is like the last full week of the teaching prac. So I was just sort of biding my time now because I'd finished everything. So I was kind of like biding my time, doing what needed to be done, getting the last of everything finished. And so I'm like, yeah, I know. Ma'am said that I can sit you for a bit, but you can't just take a teacher seat. You're a student. You should be sitting with a student. I'm like, I'm a freaking student teacher, but okay, ma'am. And it just kept talking down to me, like I was one of the like I was a kid, and I was like, I don't even talk to kids like that. I think the trauma, because I got into like a little snafu and all with some of the kids and all with not some two of the kids, one of the kids technically, but her friend involved herself. And all, but that might be its own video because that's a whole like what's name. So I might have to do like part 1, part 2, of it because it's a whole thing. No, maybe I'll just fill in these rows, do like a full thing. So it's you, it's all for you. But I'm gonna need like more of these thingamajig ones. But yeah, it's a whole thing. No, I think I could probably even. Okay, well, let me start talking about it. But yeah, so ultimately, it wasn't too bad. A lot of the other stuff, because ma'am would give me like a lot of resources and stuff like that. She was very nice about giving me resources, and then give me a lot. I had a lot of opportunities to teach, which is very nice and all that. I think, yeah, it must have been like 3 lessons, 3 or 4. It had to be like 3 or 4 lessons I had to teach. I have my teaching. I have my stuff still, so I'll like look and see how many lessons I had to teach for that year. It's not really that big. What's it? So like the main thing was like the principal would like talk down, and I'm just there like, girl, I might be like a student teacher, but I'm not one of your students. And I just have to like suck it up. I know it's one of those things where it's just sort of like you just gotta suck it up and deal with it. That's what a lot of my friends, because I complained to my friend I complained to my bestie like every time there was something. I was like sending her like sad pictures of me, and so after this thing, okay, so am I just gonna bonk it all the way there? What room are you again? What are you? Okay, you're preserved charge, so that means you're this. I'm gonna need to bonk it all the way there, aren't I? Oh, so let me then start with the furthest and then bonk that up. Okay, ooh, I completely forgot about you. You're that, and then you're that, so that means, okay, you're gonna be the easiest for me to just pick up and drop off. So I'll just pick you up and then drop you off. So yeah, so what happened was, it was lost, I think it was like, it must have been like a Tuesday, Wednesday, something like that. It was a lost, like, full week of, my practical. And then I had the Monday. Originally I was gonna do it, I was gonna leave, I think, on the Wednesday, because I don't like to just, like, leave on a random day, typically. But after what happened, and it didn't help, I got sick. So between that and then what happened, I was like, yeah, no, I'm gonna leave on the designated day, and I'm tired. I'm gonna leave on the designated day. And I did get sick to the point of like I needed to wear like a mask, kind of sick. So it like worked out, I guess. But what happened was the grade 4s, 5s, and 6s had NS at the same time, had natural science and technology at the same time. How this works, you all? There is one teacher. There is one teacher, and she, well, the grade 4s have 2 NS lessons in a row, and then the grade 5s and 6s have the 1 NS lesson, and so then they have the second lesson, and all that with me. So then they got, so it's the grade 4s have her in the first period, let's say it's the first period, and then in the second period, no, it was the first period actually, first period of the day, and so she has them for like the full time, and then in the second period, she just like leaves them with work, and then goes to the grade, 5s and 6s, and to do. Okay, let's do it like this so I can get behind it. And I'm like, and so she's like, hey, ma'am, and because I am an NS Tech, one of my specialties is NS Tech. So she's like, hey, ma'am, do you want to just look after the grade 4s for me? Here's the work that they given. It's stuff in the textbook and all that. It's if you guys know what it, if you guys have done technology, it's like roof trusses and all. It's that section. And then so I'm like, yeah, sure, that's fine, and all that's basic stuff. And I've been bouncing around the grade 4s and 5 between the 3 of them anyway, so it wasn't like a huge thing for me to be there. And then so I'm like, okay, yeah, whatever. And and so she like tells, and so I never given proper punishment yet. Normally, like if they acted up, one of the other teachers was in the room generally, or I'd be able to control them. But normally one of the teachers in the room, and so I never given proper punishment. I think they also didn't see me because I still remember my first year, one of the kids being like, hey guys, I know she's not a real teacher, but we should listen. And I'm just, they're like, I am a real teacher. And these are kids I was batching for. And also they're like, hey, so I know she's not a real teacher, but it's fine. But we should probably still listen, else we'll get in trouble with our actual teacher. And I'm just there like, if that helps you figure out how to stay good and all, that's all that matters to me, I guess. And then so they probably didn't see me as because some kids would listen to me and were like very chill with me. And then there are other times because I realized that I made sure that these kids know, hey, I'm a teacher. I'm not bestie, and I'm teacher. And because I had seen like teachers like because I did that in my first year because I was there as observation, so I was like chill with them. But I realized being chill with them meant that they weren't going to listen as well. And all that, they'd be like, oh well, she's not a real teacher kind of thing. So I like made sure that okay, I'm a teacher. I'm not bestie, I'm not just a visitor, I'm an actual teacher. And yeah, I might not be your main teacher, but I'm a teacher. And then so I was left alone with the grade 4s, and then so they were doing stuff in the textbook. And so things just kept popping up, just kept happening. And where it was like, where the one kid was like, ma'am, I don't have a pencil. It was a pencil or a pen. And I'm like, and this is the second period, so obviously she would have had to been doing work before this. I think it was a pen. And I was like, how's that my end, Dava? And why don't you have a pencil? Why don't you have a pen? And then one of the other girls speaks up. And let's go with like student A. And it speaks up. And it's like, well, ma'am, some people can't afford pencils or pens and all that. Some people can't afford test stationery. I'm like, how are you going to... Okay, yes, that is a thing. But this is the second period. How did we start the day without a pencil or pen or any kind of stationery? And how is you not being prepared my problem now? And so so she sort of like looks at... And student A like looks at me like, And I'm like, okay, whatever, I guess. you just continue on. And then she just looked like she was continuing on with her work, so I was like, okay, whatever. And then so they kept asking the same question over and over again as, ma'am, how do I do the first question? And so I look at the textbook. I have my own copy of the textbook. And I'm there, and obviously I can't feed these kids the answers because I'm not going to be there for their exams. I made sure that these kids know I'm not feeding you answers. I'll help you get to the answer. I'm not feeding you an answer because you guys got to do exams soon. And all that. So, because I think their test season was like right as I was leaving. I think it was like a week after I'm leaving. They were starting tests. And so I'm like, okay, let me read out the question. And so the question is, what is the use of this object in the picture? And I look at it, and the picture has the caption that says roof truss. So then I look at it, and I remember my mentor teacher telling me that they just choose not to read sometimes. And because I'm like, and she's like, ma'am, and that's why I knew don't give them all answers, because she told me, hey, they need to learn to read everything fully, so you can help them to answers, but don't do it for them, don't do all the work for them. So I'm like looking at it, I'm like, okay, they're asking you what the use of a roof truss is. What could a roof truss be used for? And then they're still scratching their heads, and I'm like, okay, just do what you think will be the answer, and then we'll discuss it. We'll go through it together, we'll discuss it. Let me see if they are actually done on the mountain. Oh, let me go make more crystallariums. I can't remember how many, but it's not like it's a big deal if there's more crystallariums. There's never too many crystallariums. Where would my crystallariums be? Oh, there. Let me just do it all the way up. And then so that just kept continuing. And then so that was the first activity. And ma'am said, if they finish that, then you start the next one on the next page. And so I'm like, okay, so is everyone finished? And I knew the one kid was finished because he came and brought me his book, and he was always like good. And he was always like, ma'am, I'm done. Can I just, I was like, okay, yeah, if you're done, then you can either continue on to the next task, or you can like draw or something like that until they're marked everything. And then you guys can and then you can be on par with like them. And then so he was just like, no, I'll do the next task and I'll try that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And so I was like, okay, sure. I'm not getting in your way. And so we were still like waiting for the rest of the kids. And then so, what do I need? What am I missing for you? Okay, so it's gold. I know there is a gold converter. So then so after a while, it was like halfway through the period, and I was like, okay, so who's still busy? And everyone was like, no, we're done. And so then I went to market with them, and I sort of did the answers while I was waiting because I didn't have the what do you call it, like master textbook, whatever you want to call it, for the answers textbook. So I just kind of like did it on my own, and because it's all like it's baby anesthetic. So it's all like stuff where if you read the thing, you'll be able to know. And so I'm like, okay, so what did you guys get for A? And what did you guys get for the question of what is the use of this object? And then so some of them didn't get it right. I remember some of them didn't get it right. I'm like, okay, where did we go wrong? Where about this did we go wrong? And so then I just repeated, like, they're asking you for what is the use of a roof truss? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Let me write that down. 20 more. And so then one of the kids was like, and then so we marked it, and I was like, okay, now let's do activity 2. You guys don't have to like finish in this way, but let's start on it. And I noticed one of the girls had her head down. That was student A. I know that 20 crystallariums. Let's just do that. Let's just go to bed, and then we'll just and then so I know she had her head on her desk, and I'm like, hey kiddo, can you continue? Have you finished activity 2? And let's tell you where we're starting on now. And have you finished it just really fast? And she looks me dead in the eye and goes, I never finished activity 1. Oh, okay, good. And let's then continue on with it. And then I was like, okay, please do the activity. And so then I noticed instead of doing activity, she's still got her head on the desk, giggling with her one of the girls that's in front of her. And so then I'm like, hey, how about you come right over here? So then I come right over here, come sit next to me. And because that was just a habit I picked up after a while. I was like floor time. And it was something I picked up from Kayla, actually. And for youth. So for youth, we normally do like a little, she'd do like a little prayer thing, do a little lesson. And then, so if anyone was acting up, she'd get like, because she started like hosting the youth when she was like 15, 16. And so she'd get like mature kids and like sitting by her feet. And so I was like, okay, it's floor time. And I was like, student A, floor time. Because she kept getting the attention of the girl, but never like, the girl in front of her, let's go with B, and never actually did anything. And she kept trying to get her attention. I was like, you know what, grab your book, come sit here. And then so I asked her to like sit next to me, and she's like, no. So she comes, and she's like, no, the floor's dirty, I don't want to sit here. I was like, okay, you can stand and do the work, that's fine. And so while she's busy saying, and so I'm busy like looking at one of the kids, like one of the kids brought me their work and was looking at it. And so I'm like, okay, sure. And let's like look. And then so I noticed that while I'm busy, I noticed at the corner of my eye movement, and she's busy like dancing. And she's standing there dancing and not looking at her book, and like actually just playing around dancing and like doing a little show. And I was like, you know what? Go to ma'am next door and go and ask her for I can't remember what the word is that they use. They have like a little punishment thing where it's like if you get like a certain amount, then you get like detention. And it's just sort of like a little black mark. And it's just like a little like bad. I think it's demerit. I know if you get like if you rack them up, then you get like proper punishment. But it's just like a little. I think it normally turns into just like you being in the classroom during break. You just have to sit there in the classroom during break. And then someone go to ma'am next door. Just go get a demerit. And I've talked to you too many times. And she's like, what did I do? And I'm like, good. And so then, now the class dead silent because this is the first time I think they've realized I have some kind of authority. And I think this is them doing the math and realizing, oh, this isn't just someone babysitting us. And then so the teacher comes in, then the second teacher comes in, and she's like, hey, so ma'am, who's giving you trouble? And I only realized it like way later when I was telling I can't remember who I was telling, but whether it was one of my friends or I was telling my parents, and we do like a weekly video call. So it was either one of those times, because obviously this whole thing afterwards got me like shaking, and I was literally like shaking at one point. Because I got scared. I got so worried because keep in mind, I'm in my last week. I'm like on like 4 days left, 3-4 days left. I can't remember what day it was. It was like a Wednesday, then like 3-4 days left. So like I have a few days left, and so and then some man comes in, and I only realized after she never said, "Hey, I got in trouble." Missy said because I used to just call me Mrs. You, and I'll miss you. So I'm like, because I can't say my surname. So she probably went next door, she's telling him, "Hey, Miss You, wants to give someone a demerit, not ma'am gave me a demerit," and because she came and asked who's giving you trouble, and I'm just there like. The one who grabbed you. I'm like, hey, she is the one who got in trouble. She's been disrupting the class, has been doing her work. And I checked her book as well. She barely touched activity A, and whatever you want to call it, the first activity 1, and all that. She barely touched it. And so she's literally been saying they're doing like moat. And then ended up disrupting the class, disrupting other learners, and all that, and then adding her 2 cents. And then, so I'm only here for like student discussions. I try my best not to be mean to the kids. And all that, I've been in their place, I try my best not to be mean to the kids. But when you're disrupting the other kids, then it becomes another issue. And when you're disrupting the kids, when you're not listening, when I tell you to do activities, then it becomes a different thing. So ma'am takes her out, and now it's with them. It's first 2 periods, and then it's a break. It's lunch break, and all the first lunch break. And then so then I see so then the bell hits, and all the class was dead silent the rest of the time. I think it was like 10 minutes left in the period or something. Class was dead silent. And then so I see the girl. She's perfectly. The NS tech teacher is like scolding her, but she's just perfectly fine there. And I'm just standing there staring at ma'am while she's scolding her. And then so I go into my mentor teacher's classroom. I ate lunch in the classroom, and my mentor teacher belongs to my mentor teacher. And so my mentor teacher's I'm in the desk in the back. My mentor teacher's in the corner, right by the front, where like in line with the door. And then the other teacher that shares the classroom, that at this point still shares the classroom, and she's now the ma'am's bestie, you could call her, and is also sitting there. And then so the girl then comes to student A, and student B comes in, and student A is crying, like full on crying. And I'm just there, and I'm just like the minute I saw she was crying, I was like, it's gonna be about me. It's going to be about me. I'm eating my pizza and being like, this is going to be about me. And then the ma'am's just like, oh, do you want to talk about it in the class? She's like, no, I want to go outside. I'm like, yeah, definitely about me. And so I just continue eating. I just continue because I know something's going to go down. And so I just continue eating. And then so they go outside and then talk. And then ma'am comes in and is like, hey, so ma'am, and I'll admit, miss you. And I'll let you, I'm trying to remember what the word is she used. What do you call it? There's been a... What's the word? I'm trying to remember what the word is now. But she's come to like complaint. That's the word. She's come to complain. And I'll let you've had a complaint against you now. And I'm like, okay. And so what she told ma'am was, whenever they asked questions, I said, I don't know, that's your Nava. Whenever they asked like questions about the activity, I said, oh no, that's your Nava. And then I punished her for no reason because she was sitting there. While she was doing her work, I then told me I sent her to get the demerit for no reason. And that was basically the summary of what she said was that whenever they asked a question about the activity, I said, I don't know, that's your problem, that's your Nava. And then the second one was that I punished her for like no reason. She wasn't doing anything. I just targeted her for no reason. And so the other girl wasn't involved. I'd like to remind you that B was just there as like, I guess like an accomplice who attempted talking, but she never really did anything properly. She continued on her work. She never actually did her. She like turned to look at what the girl was doing, but then went to go about and do her work. That's why she never got like any like proper punishment because she still went to go do her work. The main thing was she continued the disruption. That's what happened with A. And so that's why she ended up getting punished. She ended up punishing her. I know logically I could probably continue with the 3rd day, but this is just gonna be easier because I'm doing hand motions and I need to remember things. And then so I'm just like, okay, ma'am, that's fine. Okay, so ma'am, this is what happened. And the only time I signed in Java was when someone was asking, another student was asking me, was saying that, wasn't even asking me for a pen, was saying, ma'am, I don't have a pen. And my logic, whenever one of the kids comes to me with, I don't have a pen, write in pencil, ink it later. No, because that's what my teachers used to do. Write in pencil, ink it later. And I just said that's the only time that I said that's not my Java. When they asked questions, they kept repeating the same question. When I told them, they're asking for the use of this object, and they're telling you in the caption that, and I told them, look in the caption. And the caption says what it does. And so then, and then the reason why she got in trouble was because she wasn't continuing the activity. She never started. She tried to disrupt. I shut her down. I noticed her head was on her desk. Also, continued with activity 2 after she said that she agreed with the rest of them that they had all finished activity 1 and we can mark it. And then and then when I asked her, hey, continue with activity 2, have you done activity 2? What's going on? And she had said, oh, I didn't even finish activity 1. And then when I told her, okay, and then when I noticed she started talking to her friends, and she was trying to disrupt the other call, she was trying to disrupt other learners, I told her to come to the front. She didn't want to sit down because the floor was dirty. I was like, okay, whatever, then do your work standing. And then I noticed while I was distracted, and I see that she's busy dancing and playing around in the front for the amusement of the other learners. And then so I told her to go to ma'am, to go to the NS tech teacher, to go to get a demerit. And that was it. And her eyes were perfectly dry in the beginning of that lesson. And while ma'am was scolding her, it was only for my mentor teacher that she started crying. And I watched, because I could see her in my line of sight while she was getting scolded to by the NS tech teacher. And I could see that she was perfectly fine. And then when it came to ma'am, and so she's like, okay, yeah, okay. Just be careful, Nola, with how you... Okay, that's fine, ma'am. But just be careful now, because if you... Okay, so B has a sister that's in grade 6. And let's call her C. And then there's another sister in, like, foundation phase. I remember seeing them. They're literally all of this. And then so she's like, just be careful involving, like, B and even, like, C. Because their parents are willing to, like, go start a fight with you. And they're both in government, so they could end your career before it started. What do you mean by that, man? What do you mean? And why is the parents not dictating what you as the teachers are have to do? And so now this is why I started, like, shaking, because my brain now catches up and is like, okay, so if this girl's, like, parents start something, does that mess up my whole, like, teaching practice? I'm almost done. I'm just, like, my teaching practice and all that. So I'm like, so if this parent, like, decides to start something, does that mean my whole teaching practice is done for? What is going on? Why are the kids, like, ruling your classrooms? They shouldn't have that much power. And so I get silent treatment from, like, a good amount of the grade 4s. And I get silent treatment. And even some of the grade 5s as well gave me, like, some attitude. And gave me some, like, kind of thing. And so I'm like, so I just kind of roll with it. I'm just like, whatever. And like, this is not involving you guys, but whatever. And then the end of the day comes. I'm right in front of the tuck shop area, and old ma'am runs one of the tuck shops. So I'm right in front of like the little area where they keep all the tuck shop stuff. And she comes up to me, and the girl A comes up to me like nothing happened. And Owen is like, ma'am, can you just open the tuck shop? And I'm like, no, at the end of the day, I'm not. But my mentor teacher does it. I'm not a mentor teacher. I'm dead. And I'm not what's the name. And then we also had PE, and she acted perfectly fine, like she was bestie after that. And when I go next day, nothing happens, and nothing ever came from that. But I could not trust those kids afterwards because of the fact that you lied. I could not trust any of the grade 4s afterwards because I know at the very least, a good half of the grade 5 and 6 like class liked me a lot, and like we're chill with my existence, and like would if someone were to start something like this, and I knew the one student, the kid that was good that would do his work, and I know he would also back me up as a witness as to some of the stuff, but because a lot of these kids knew each other from all the way from grade 1, and grade R, grade 1, they've been in the same class together, good half of these kids. So when Queen Bee says, hey, let's ignore teacher, because I knew from the start that student A was like meant to be like Queen Bee. And all that kind of thing, because one of the kids came up to me and was like, hey, I don't like how mean they are to me, but I can't really stop them because if I talk back, then that means everyone's gonna hate me, and no one wants to talk to me because this happened before. They shunned out one of the kids before, and then after the kid made up with A, did all of this come together. And I didn't think about like the actual the logistics of having a kid, having classrooms that are like 8 kids, only 8 kids, because those kids are gonna. I was always looking at my grade 6 year was like there were 60 of us, and also I had a good amount of friends at least back then, and also it was like these poor kids. Yeah, so nothing at least came about it. I was able to finish, but after that I couldn't trust the grade 4s. I just couldn't trust them, and then those grade 4s were obviously next year's grade 5s. And so that's why my 4th year was more interesting, because I was like, I'm gonna, if I need to do classes, I'm focusing on the grade 4s and 6s, and all for classes, and all for like my teaching things, because I don't know whether the grade 5, because even in the grade, in the next year, she still also tried to run the classroom. And I'm just like, bro, I'm the teacher. And you can't run the classroom when I'm the teacher. It was a whole like thing. And I'm trying not to sound like I'm beefing with a child, but at the same time, wouldn't you, if someone were, I never like did anything against the kid. And I always make sure whenever she asked a question, I answered it. And I gave her the same amount of treatment and all that afterwards. I just didn't trust any of them afterwards. And when it came to like things, I always wanted to, if I was going to teach the grade 5s, I wanted to only teach them when Mam was in the classroom, because they never started anything when Mam was in the classroom. And I know they were very scared of her, but other teachers, she wouldn't start anything with other teachers. She would start everything with other teachers, but she wouldn't start anything when Mam was in the classroom. And my mentor teacher. But yeah, that's another thing for the next for year 4. And hopefully this one doesn't give me any issues. This recording doesn't give me any issues, because I see that I'm quite long. But yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. I hope you guys are enjoying me talking about drama, and I'm talking about teaching drama, student drama, high school, no, university drama, I guess. I hope you guys are enjoying this. Enjoying me getting up to my comeuppance. But yeah, we'll continue this in the next video. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, and all the good stuff. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.